in the heels of what was happening with George Floyd, the pandemic, everything that was happening during that time, we started when my
This
good
brother said
sister,
the pandemic.
the
I need y'all. I
pandemic,
need
man.
y'all. Don't let that
Yeah.
just blow by. I need y'all to make sure y'all understood what he just said on that one. But
Yeah.
we gonna save that one for another show.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
please continue, sir.
Yeah, I just get the verbiage for that.
Let's just talk about your process of learning and maturation,
Yeah.
right? And because I think what I've known about you is you're very intentional about it. You seek it.
Yeah.
You want to, as amazing as you are in the information that you give, you pull it out of a lot of people as well throughout your daily talk. So I want you to talk about that.
I remember when I wanted to pull more out of my own mind. Like, I knew that I have the ability to articulate myself well. I can think of great concepts, but I used to struggle having brain fog, waking up in the morning, feeling like there's a lot more potential than I'm actually accessing at the moment, right? So I started to study learning how to learn, right? And I wanted
That's a gem.
yeah, I had to learn how to learn. Like,
love
most people
that.
think they know how to learn, but that goes to the study of self-knowledge,
Yeah.
right? Like, we hear concepts of, bro, you got to get knowledge yourself, but what the hell does that mean? Like, you got to understand neuroscience. You got to understand psychology. You got to understand the way that the mind and the brain works and interacts. So, I started to study learning how to learn and increase my process of learning, right? I'm a very deductive learner, right? I use deductive reasoning or abductive reasoning. So I had to learn, like, what is the way that I process information?
Yeah.
And usually I start with the end in mind all the time. Like, I have my vision, and then I fill in the gaps from there, right? And then I research and I connect the dots. So if there's a subject, and I was looking at this earlier, say, if you're working out, right, the way to grow muscle, you got to get to that muscle failure point.
Absolutely.
Right? When you get to that muscle failure point, then that's when your body starts to grow new muscle, because you need it, right?
To tear it down.
But yeah, you got to, and my brother David Shams was talking about this, you have to go to the point where you can't handle the weight.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of people study in their comfort zone. I study out my comfort zone, things I know zero about. So when I'm trying to study it, it's tough.
Yeah.
Because I'm listening and it sounds like another language.
Yeah.
So now I got to study the language. I start with studying all the language first. I say every level of consciousness comes with a new language. So then it's like, let's say blockchain, right? NFTs and cryptocurrencies. I need to study the language, what DeFi and all of these different things mean. So then I can understand and interact with it.
Yeah.
Then when I'm hearing somebody talk, not just 10% of what they talking about connects, 100% of what they talking about connects. Yeah. Then I want to study who they study, because I don't like going to the source, because that's an interpretation of the knowledge. That's not the root. Yeah. So it's like, you can study Dale Carnegie or you can study his teacher, right? And then you can find his teacher's teacher's teacher. And then you get to the root, not the interpretation. So I like the root knowledge. I like to get to the language, and I like to connect the dots.
I think what's there's two things that jump out to me, because this is something I'm passionate about, and one is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. That you start with, but the other is self-mastery.
Yeah.
Right. So you understand how you learn. Right. I'm a conceptual learner.
Yeah.
Right. If you give me the concept, you don't need to fill in all the stuff for me.
Yeah.
I need the concept.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I can run now. I can run my play.
Yeah.
And then I've learned to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I like going into the places where I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then I know I can bring my full self to it. And what makes me different is what's going to make me great. Right. And so I'm going to bring my own little piece to it. And so I love that you broke that down in your journey of, one, you are seeking things outside of your comfort zone, but within the realm of your own understanding of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you have done so brilliantly is you have amazing self-mastery, right? You truly understand yourself.
Yeah.
So your authenticity is always there.
Yeah.
So and I think that's how you've built your audience. So I definitely want to talk about you've built an amazing following that has been growing rapidly, I would say, over the last year.
Yeah.
So talk about that, please, because you're not new to this. You true to this.
Yeah, that's a fact. I was on EYL and I was talking about, culture comes from building cult, right? The occult sense of things, right? And when I first started, I remember talking to my bros and I'm like, I'm going to create an internationally known entity. I didn't say brand first, I said an entity as 19 keys, right? People are going to know that. That's going to change their mind, shift them. I first started with the what it is that I was doing. I ain't going there blindly. People get on social media, they say, well, I wanted to grow a following and see what I'm going to do with it. I knew what I was going to do with it before I grew the following. And so the reason why is because...
We're going to have to come back to that.
Yeah. The reason why is because I didn't start on social media. I brought it to social media, right? And the problem is what a lot of people is they start on social media. They have no real world experience first. I grew up in the streets. I grew businesses that I had my own business in Oakland, California that I was growing. I worked for companies I was already making 6 figures. I had experience. And when I was first hired for my first speaking job, it's because the children was looking and they asked the guy that was doing the organization for their group, can they have me come in there and speak? I got 500 followers at the time, right? But I was just on there documenting my journey, talking about what I was talking about.
I think I seen that in that auditorium.
Yeah.
That was the first video I seen of you.
Yeah, and that one went viral.
Yeah,
every clip of it went viral.
Absolutely, as it should have.
And I told my videographer at the time, I said, I need you to come with me. I'm going to pay you half of what I get paid, and I'm going to need you to just film it. And I'd say, listen, you going to film this. We're going to put it out in the world. It's going to go viral. Right now, I got 500 followers, so it's like, all right, it sounds good. You know, that's that key's confidence. You know what I'm saying? But my idea was this. When I have conversations with people, and they would listen to how I think and my perspective that I gave them, it was always different. One of the greatest compliments you can ever give a person is, damn, I never thought of it like that. When I hear that, all right, we got something, right? It's like when you say concepts, you're a conceptual learner. Concepts is condensing down information to be easily understood, right? So I always was good at speaking in quotables, creating concepts of thought and giving it to people where they didn't have time to think, right? And it's like them downloading my thought and then they can upgrade themselves. So I said, okay, let me go in there and give as many concepts, as many downloads, give my pattern of thinking to the world. And this is going to be my introduction to this space. It's if he films it right, right? So I went in there, I got my crown on, and I use what I now know as the science of the curiosity gap, right? The curiosity gap is when you know something about it, but you don't know all of it, and it pulls you in to know more, right? So I'm on there, I got my crown on, I got my Panther jacket, the scene looked like it's a movie, I'm dropping these gems. They say, damn, it's a Muslim, but he not shaved like the Nation Brothers. Like, what's going on? You drawing in. Then I'm using sonic marketing, right? Every time I drop the point, it would hit a boom, right? And then I wanted to make sure no point was misunderstood. So I would write a lengthy caption like a copyright, and therefore it will follow people into a full understanding of the concept.
So hang on. You edited this video yourself.
Yeah. He sent me an edited version, and I said, no, just send me the raw. Because it wasn't the way I knew I needed to brand it.
And this is something that, that inspires me, man, because I don't think people realize how much you work, right? When they see what you're doing, I think people are imagining hundreds of people, right? These full production teams doing this stuff. But you just said, hey, you did your whole production planning.
Facts.
You mapped out the entire strategy of what it was.
Yeah.
You were then the main character.
Facts.
And then you edited.
Facts. Yeah.
what it was. And then you distributed it.
Yeah. Then I edited on my phone.
Listen. Come on, talk about how much you need to really get out great stuff. It's the planning, man.
Yeah, it's the planning. You need the vision first before anything. Ooh. That's why I'm so heavy on mindset. Because I say it's 80% mindset, 20% skill set. The right mindset, you can master any skill set. Ooh. As you talked about, a lot of people have skill sets, but their mindset is lacking. So they don't really know what to do with it, right? Man. So it's the abstract thought process that goes into being a creator. But before I got on social media, I studied social media for months and months and months and months. So by the time it was time for me to go out there and produce the actual work, I was qualified because I did all the training first.
What year was this?
2016, I believe.
It's 2016.
Yeah.
We now in 2021.
Yeah.
Now you building businesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You've taken all that, and now you building wealth.
Yes, sir.
Please talk about it. What you got?
Man, it's been a beautiful journey.
Look, he's smiling. He's smiling now. Look, I know he's excited. It's been a hell of a journey. Go for it.
Yeah, I've had the distinct pleasure of being one of the most prominent people to build organizations of black men and women coming together. We had the Shifters back in 2017, a group of influential young people that had their own platform, didn't know each other. We all decided, I started a group message, poured people in there, and everybody was like, yeah, it's a good idea that we connect, right? Let's connect, let's help each other, let's build each other platforms up. Then we was like, actually, we should meet in person and do this in person and create a tour, and we should shift the paradigm. Okay. So we called it the Shifters. So we went over there, we talked business, wealth, spirituality, higher consciousness, activism, every subject that we needed to shift the mind of our people, right? And we traveled around the U.S. and throughout, I personally did my own diaspora tour, Africa, the Caribbean, UK, right? And that one was successful. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. It shifted the paradigm. It showed an example of unity looks like in real time. And that was something that our culture wasn't used to.
Yeah.
Then on the heels of that, I started an organization with my bro, Spectacular Smith, right? And that was called the Power Circle. Now that one's a little more high influential people that has more money and entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a mastermind to where we come together and, we basically help each other, right? And then we take that influence and help the community with it. We had an event that we did. It was completely successful. I sort of fell back on that one, and I moved forward with co-founding BWO, which is my current organization, with my bro Chris Cole, Ben X, Derek Grace at the time, and my bro J. Taylor Jacobs. Now, what I seen during that time,
power players,
heavy players.
Every person that you've named, is a power player.
Heavy player.
There's a theme there.
Yeah,
you've never been afraid to collaborate.
Absolutely not.
And that's something that I think a lot of us have gone off and we've been solopreneurs.
Yeah,
you've reached out.
Yeah,
you've collaborated. You've pulled people together. And I want you to get into that as well, but you had some other things you were going into, so please continue with BWO.
Yeah,
and what you guys been building, because it's
BWO
powerful.
is massive, man. Is as big as we thought it was going to be and is becoming. With BWO, the reason and the way that it started was simply through observing everybody's individual value, right? My good brother J. Taylor Jacobs and BNX have built their empire over there with digital real estate and a private banking blueprint. Okay. They juggernauts in their space. Me and Chris Cole built up the wealth standard, right? In a 2-week intensive course and training people in the stocks and teaching them wealth, and brought a lot of his knowledge to the marketplace on social media, and that collaborative thing turned into something massive, right? We were funding our students millions of dollars, right? Something that they knew no concept of. And just last year was such a legendary run. It'd be too much to get into. But
you can get into it. Look. The folks need to know that because I saw it.
Yeah.
So I was blown away.
Yeah. I mean, so, that was in the heels of what was happening with George Floyd, the pandemic, everything that was happening during that time. We started when my
His
good
brother
sister
said the pandemic. I
pandemic,
need y'all don't let that just blow by. I need y'all to make sure y'all understood what he just said on that one. But we gonna save that one for another show. But please continue, sir.
I just get the verbiage for that. So we did My Black Receipts with my good sister Kezia. And the goal of My Black Receipts was to prove the concept of circulating the black dollar in our community. And within a few months, we was able to circulate, I think, $7 million. Wow. Right?
Wow.
We started a website. We was able to track the money. We got everybody to upload their receipts at only black businesses, right? And it started off also saying that white allies, black receipts. What is one of the ways? They kept asking, how do we help? How do we help? When they say, well, we need economic recovery right now. You understand me? So the easiest way to help, show us a receipt, right? And so Everybody was with it. We got all communities to come together, and in a very short amount of time, we had Yelp. We had a bunch of other companies that reached out that wanted to help, right, on the corporate side, and it became a success.
Beautiful.
And that was in the hills of doing the wealth standard. We had a Bitcoin initiative. We tried to give away $1 million worth of Bitcoin. We was only able to successfully give away 80,000 because our people didn't understand it at the time, right? And of course now that's worth
a lot. Yeah, I was about to say. I said that 80,000 is real, but
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. The 80,000 is $1 million now.
Yeah,
but,
it's much more than that, probably.
Much way more. But at the time, we also was giving away silver because we was teaching people how to build their portfolio by giving them things in their portfolio, immediately making them diversified once they get into the course, right? And then we had the 2-week intensive, which is allowing people to get funded up to $250,000, utilizing other people's money, right? That they can play with, trade in the market.
Okay.
So that was amazingly successful. The campaigns that we was running, and I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff that I'm missing, but those are some of the highlights, right? Yeah. I went to Atlanta. We ran an activist campaign. We was feeding the homeless. We had a whole initiative that we gave to the initiative was against food deserts, right? Yeah. Everybody's marching and protesting in the streets, but the hoods is hungry. Yeah. You understand me? So we said we go focus on the solution directly with the people. So we raised money for the local farm initiatives that they had going on. They were trying to build this co-op grocery store across the street. We raised them upward of $50,000, went to all of the neighborhoods, serviced the people, giving the groceries. It was an amazing initiative. We had some viral moments that came out of that when we was training the brothers. Like a whole lot of stuff came out of last year. This is what people don't understand is that what they see as results now was a lot of work earlier.
Man, I think it's not only was it a lot of work, it's you continue to work.
Absolutely.
But I think what you're also doing is you're continuing to tell the story of the work because you understand what the time is now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss that, right? So we've talked about folks that I'm involved with, right?
Yeah.
And within my circle that have intense knowledge and intellect, right? And they are corporate leaders leading and running billion-dollar brands all around the world, but yet they don't tell the story. And I think a lot of it is fear. It's fear of putting themselves out there because they've become insecure and they don't have a vision for themselves beyond where they are. And I think your vision is for yourself is so big, where there is no ego in it actually for you. And that is what allows you to collaborate.
Yeah.
Because most folks at your level right now and you're in your stature of, let's just call it fame because it's real, right? You are a recognizable brother out here.
Appreciate it.
And you've earned it and you deserve it, but you don't carry that with ego. You have no problem reaching out.
Absolutely.
We text you 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Right? Real talk, guys. We text 2 days ago and this brother pulled up on time. Let me just tell you that. And I know his schedule is full. He pulled up on time, which I struggle with. So I want to give you a shout out and give you your flowers for that one. But man, you work. You work, bro.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's something that people need to take away as they're listening.
The pretty word for work is like law of attraction, right?
Yeah.
People talk about the law of attraction. That's the pretty way of saying you got to put some work in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think people get lost on that because you talked about confidence. And I always say confidence is the ability to hold on to truth, right? And there's a law of confidence. People talk about the law of attraction and they forget all other universal laws. The law of attraction is not the Constitution. You understand me? And working with those different laws of the universe, you can go to any president, any founder of $1 billion company, they're going to have a law of the universe that they work with. Yeah. Whether it's a law of exchange, law of execution, law of confidence, there's a law that they confide in and that they work with. And it allows them to be so consistent working with the laws of the universe, adding in their own intelligence and being a medium for their success. Yeah. You understand me? And so our people have to learn those universal laws and principles and add those into their mix, combined with that work ethic, and then combined with the institutions, right? And so you talked about institutions earlier, And those institutions are the family, the banking, the governments, you understand me, the education systems, right? Like these are the institutions that are the tools that build wealth. Yeah. And once we get into institutional building, right, that's a different ball game. But we got to have access.
Yeah.
Because we can want to do it all we want to, but there's a complete knowledge on it already. And so what I've learned to do now is to systemize the brilliance.
Yeah.
Because we are brilliant people, but we're not very systematic. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've gotten confused as a Black community, where we've turned competitive instead of collaborative.
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted to highlight on what you're doing, because
And that's sad.
Your ability to collaborate with folks requires a level of humility. But that humility comes from a greater vision.
Mm-hmm.
Wealth is not built by individuals. Wealth is an institution in itself, right? That requires many actors.
Facts.
And I think you understand, and you're doing that. So I would love for you to expand upon what are the actors that you are working with, right, and have in place as you are on your journey of building wealth.
You mean like my key partners?
Absolutely. It's your key partners or your key collaborators.
You know,
everybody's not a partner. Let me say that to everybody.
No, that's a fact.
Partners are contractual, right? Collaboration doesn't require a contract.
Right.
So I think there's plenty of people that you work with that are not contractual partners.
Yeah. Contractual partners. Yeah,
so
I got
you can
those.
You can talk about your act. That's why I call them actors, because we all play roles, right?
Right.
These are key stakeholders, right? That you guys are drafting and working together with in collaboration.
Yeah. So to just chime in on the idea of collaboration is so key right now. And the reason that I can remain humble through it all is because I've seen it before as well. Growing up, I've seen organizations fail that are greater than the ones I've seen built on social media. Much bigger, much better, more organized, smarter, like reach crazy. I've seen 40-year organizations fall.
Yeah.
So it's like the stuff on social media just don't impress me, right? It's like if what we're doing doesn't impress me yet.
Wow.
You understand me?
That's big.
It has to get to a point where it matures first.
Got it.
Because we at this level to where we have knowledge, we have some exposure, access, influence, but we're not maturing it yet because we're still trying to compete with each other, right? And we're not even big fish for the real game. You understand me?
Yeah.
But we think we are, right? And so we look at each other. It's the same crab and barrel mentality that we preach against. Because we think that it's space dominance. That's where we go again. I want to create a barrier for competition, which is nothing wrong with that. That's any great business utilizes service and design to create barriers for competition.
100%.
Right? And that's amazing. But at the same time, we have to learn how to complement each other rather than compete because there's so much space.
Yeah.
And my analogy for that is that, you know, the sun, it serves everywhere light reaches. But then there's all the other stars. And wherever the sun doesn't reaches, those light up that universe. Right? So we don't all have to be the sun.
We might have to drop a little bomb on that there real quick.
But we could all be stars though.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? We can all be the ones.
That's it.
If I say I'm the greatest thought leader in the world, doesn't mean you ain't the greatest thought leader in your world. You understand me? If I say I'm the one, don't mean you not a one. 2 equals 2 ones, 3 ones, 4 ones, 5 ones until you get to 9.
Yeah.
Right? Every number equals a 1. You understand me? Just compiled on top of each other. We are all ones. The only thing that actually exists is the ones.
Oh man, I love that.
So it's like we don't have to have this vertical competition. It can be lateral, to where it's a lateral collaboration. We can stand on the side of each other. And we all the ones. Let's move together. But I want us to understand that piece so much because they're going to see us build great things, but they're going to fall by our egos. And I forgot who said it. Somebody was talking about it. It was a rap song. She said, you know, great civilizations are destroyed from within.
Yeah.
You understand me? And that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So I want us to be able to rise above emotions into the thinking of God. That's where the logic and the purpose, where we're on target and we remember what the agenda is. We don't get caught up in what we've done. Oh, I've done this. Have you done more? It's like, no, teach your brother so he can do more.
So is that what your approach is? Is that how you're looking at these collaborators that you're working with?
Absolutely.
Are you looking for the spirit of the man, right, or the woman,
Yeah.
right? I'm saying in the man of the metaphysical sense, but
Yeah, because I know where if there's alignment, we can go forever. Wherever there's a lack of vision, that's where the vision fails. And here's the thing. Everybody's vision not as far as yours. Some people can only see so far. So they get in it and be like, well, at the $1 million mark, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got fame, I'm out.
Yeah.
They don't have the, I'm going to keep going until this whole thing is 100% done. Okay. Right? So you have to keep that in mind that everybody is not in it for the full run. Now, if you're wise enough, you can see that within the men and women that you work with, and everybody can use each other for the value that they have to add to this collaboration, right? And that takes layers of being wise enough to see that before you get in, because expectation becomes the death of you, right? So I want that to be understood so much because we have so much expectation upon each other, but your righteous qualities is what's going to sustain it. And people don't think about that because the money, once you start making millions and millions and millions, it changes.
Yeah.
It's different between y'all making 10,000.
Yeah.
Y'all making 100,000. Y'all start making millions. Then you start to see the potential of tens of millions, hundreds of millions. That's when the greed kicks in.
Yeah.
The greed makes you want to dominate the space. You understand me? Instead of realizing that if we did the 10 million, we can do the 100 million. If we did the 100 million, we can do the billion. The problem with most things is that people fall out of alignment with each other at the process. Yeah. It wasn't that it couldn't have turned into a billion. Y'all didn't continue the $1 billion alignment. You understand me? So I think about that in this space because I want all of us to understand is, like, I give a lot of people thoughts. I give a lot of people ideas, concepts. I don't take credit for it because I know our culture has not get used to being given things. Yeah. Especially men, we don't appreciate when we're not the one giving. So therefore, we have a resentment to the person that gives us the most.
That's a real statement.
So that's why I step back and be like, you know what? You can have that. You ain't got to give me credit. But then, it's tourist season right now. So I said, you know what? I'm taking some of what's mine, though.
I think what I love about what you're talking about, too, is, you're happy, man. You're never satisfied.
Absolutely.
And I think you have to surround yourself with folks that are like that because there isn't an end in mind for you. No. There's a journey.
Correct.
That you're describing. And I think a lot of people have approached entrepreneurship, they've approached business with an end. Mm-hmm. And there is no end, right? That once you step off and you say you are going to build something, you have to keep building.
That's a fact.
That's why you get a Bezos that can make billions and billions of dollars because he is a builder.
That's a fact.
That's what he loves.
That's a fact.
There's no end in mind. If that was the case, he would have stopped years ago, and several billions ago.
Yeah.
And I love that you've tapped into that mindset and you're surrounding yourself with it. So describe, you got a vision for yourself. You have a journey in mind. What is it? Right? Because
before I get
you're
there,
expanding
I do want to mention some of my partners.
Oh, please do.
I breezed about the whole thought process. So I talked about my bro, Ben X, Chris Cole, Jake Taylor Jacobs. And let's stop at Chris Cole for a second. And my bro, Blue Pill. And those are two business partners of mine that I respect very much, highly. My bro, Chris Cole, brings so much value to the space and the culture because he doesn't just bring knowledge, he brings value. And all knowledge is not valuable. And this is what people don't understand. And not only that, he exposes the culture to knowledge and information and gives them access to things that they normally would have never gotten without him. And not everybody who has the astute understanding, the way that he has of markets and business, brings it to the marketplace. Yeah. He always talks, I bring him out of retirement, right?
Because that's true. You did.
Yeah, because when I had the matter of fact, I was sitting with you and Chris. Y'all had a conversation. You was talking about options.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I say, options. I heard the concept of it. Light bulb went off. I say, oh, if the culture knew this. Because one of my strengths is identifying value Absolutely. Proposition.
Absolutely.
Right? In business model generation, the first thing is what's your value proposition. Yeah. So anytime, and I can look at anybody once I spend enough time with them, I can know a product to maximize. Right? I can know what the value is and how we can design that out to the masses and how it can be sold. Right? Everything is sales. And this is what most people don't get. One of my greatest talents is my ability to sell. because I understand attention, desire, and value, right? And if you can get that in, then you good to go. So when you look at my vids, you can break them down. You understand me? Attention, desire, value, and then systems, right?
Y'all, I just want to make sure y'all understand that's the definition of marketing.
Yeah, that's the game.
I love it.
Yeah.
As a student of marketing, you just broke it down.
Yes, sir.
Keep going. Keep dropping.
So working with my bro Chris Cole, I said, bro, you know you about to be big. Like, I'm already thinking I'm going to design this out. Like, bro, no, you about to have your own platform. You understand me? Because I can already see it. And I know that's what Brother Ben did for my bro Jay Taylor Jacobs. He was off the internet, right? But he understood finances and not just building business, but he understands company building, right? Which is important for what we're doing right now. So I'm a idea guy, I'm a big vision, but I also have these brilliant skill sets that I can use that I'm learning to systemize to have the full Monty, right? And then my bro Blue Pill is who I work with on Goldwater. So that's my initial partner. I sent it in my initial group chat. I sent everybody the numbers. I said, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. This is the numbers we're going to be able to do. Gave him a breakdown. He was the only, it was like Shark Tank. He was the only shark I got.
Okay.
But it was a shark I needed because he was already in that space. So, of course, he understood the vision.
Okay.
First week, we successful. You understand me? We've been profitable since day one.
Wow.
You understand me? And now we've turned into a family business to where it's ran without me. It's not personality driven. It's not based on my influence.
And family business, is he family?
It's my brother.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
So it's
but not like blood brother.
Absolutely, yeah.
But my sister,
yeah.
my two older sisters, right? My Kalima, she's like the CEO of the company essentially, right? You have my other older sister, Andrea. She's running the back end. You understand me? Distribution, customer service. You have my cousin Lamiko. She's handling logistics and things of that nature. You got my younger twin brothers. They work in distribution. And we got a few other employees, right? So then my younger brother, Bashir, initially was the graphic designer, creating the labels and everything.
Beautiful.
So it's a true family business.
Yeah.
You understand me? And it's a family business that operate on its own. It doesn't require me.
Let me ask you this, though. I have to dive into that, right? Did everyone have that skill set of the function that they're leading, right? Because you've just broke down a business with roles and clear functions.
Yeah.
Did they understand that
had
job
had
set?
To be built.
They learned it. It was learned.
Yeah.
Who taught them?
Well, initially, when everybody wanted to come in, I always tell them, everybody can have a job, but you got to make it for yourself. You understand me?
Man, say it again. Say it again.
Everybody can have a job, but you have to make it for yourself.
Come on, Keith. This is too much.
So, like,
I hope y'all heard that. That, man, if not, rewind this and listen to it again.
With family, you know, it's always aligning mission, vision, and values, right? And so with my sister, when we first started, I identified her values and skill sets first, right? I said, you know, she worked college, she worked clerical skills and assistant, executive assistant. So I'm like, yo, what can you do? Can you handle this, that, and the third? So she said, yes. So I say, cool. We're going to put you in this role because at first I was working the businesses by myself. Yeah. I'm doing everything. So the reason I knew which roles were needed, because I knew which roles I didn't want to do anymore. I wasn't going to touch shipping. Yeah. I'm not touching labels, nothing. Okay. If it has to depend on me, it's not getting there no more because I had to free myself up. So I say, okay, who can do this, that, and the third? My sister and my younger brother. And then I say, well, listen, I know I can design, but you have more refined skills in this area, right? So I can design it, but I need you to vectorize it. I need you to really go into the graphic, create the label. I'll get it ordered, whatever. Eventually, everything that I do as a role, I need somebody else to take over. So the roles that I was doing as we were scaling, we started to afford somebody else to do those roles, and then we could scale more. So that's where my cousin came in, Lamiko. Now she can handle back end. She can take a lot of pressure off my sister because when we first started, it was easier for her to handle shipping and customer service. But then, you know, she has a family too. That's a headache for her. So I said, listen, all you have to do is manage the people then. Right? I'll pay you to manage it. You don't have to do all those roles, but you do have to train up somebody else to do those roles and you have to manage them. Right? So once we started to naturally have this system. And then, of course, you got my bro Blue Pill. He's doing the marketing, the deal flow, and things of that nature with me, right?
This is all online. This is all D2C business.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Now, we do have some in-store product, right? We have some in gyms. We have some at grocery stores out in Atlanta. And the only reason that we haven't even expanded beyond where we want to is because I'm getting distribution solid first.
Yeah.
Expansion is not a problem at this point.
Yeah.
If I want to sell 10X, I know how to put together the plan for that. When we first had our first $100,000 month as a company, the week before, or the month before rather, I was on a plane. I wrote out the whole plan. You understand me? I sent it to the team, and we executed to a T. You understand me? And what I had realized is that when I was working a job, I was way more refined in the details than when I was running my own business, right? We had a clientele, we had sales goals for the day, for the week, for the month, right? We would look at all the analytics. We would do everything. So I said, damn, I did that for them. And my main thing was, I know that if I fire them and I work for myself, then I can have more sales and, of course, keep more profit.
You brought that discipline of a model that was existing, and you recreated it for yourself.
Absolutely. I did $3.5 million in sales for Prada my first year being a salesperson for them.
Come on.
And that was like $1.5 million more than the second person that was in line after me, right? So, and that was because I taught them a lot of my skill sets, because they were so mad that I was taking up so many sales. The only way to get them off my back was to teach them.
Yeah, because you were getting all the commissions.
Yeah, I was getting, and it would go as you made more money. So yeah,
100%.
It was stacking up. So I had to literally teach everybody else so we could get along.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I've learned that same skill set because I called my pops once. Because I was mad. I'm like, bro, why is everybody mad at me? It's a competition, essentially. Like, we are competing for sales. But they was mad because I was so far ahead, they felt like it was unfair. It's like Jordan in the street game. You understand me? I'm putting it all up. So Pop say, just be FOI. And it was simple. And he was talking about the training that I received when I was younger.
Okay.
Right? Growing up. And one of them was the proper handling of people. Right? Knowing how to build relationships, knowing how to handle the emotions, knowing how to help others, and just be righteous. Treat people how you want to be treated, right? So once I had that reflection, I said, you know what? Let me educate them. Let me teach them what I know, bring them a little closer up to me so that they can actually compete with me, right? So it humanized me on a level to where they didn't just see me as this guy that make all of the sales. I told them some of my story and who I was. Right? Then they can empathize with who I was, and they got value from me at the same time. And I do that now because in a lot of spaces I be Jordan, right? And people try to compete. And it's like, bro, you can never win a competition because I'm just being myself.
Yeah.
Right? We're not competing for the same spot. You can't compete for being me. You know what I'm saying?
Possible.
Like, I already won that.
Yeah, you're going to lose that one. Yeah. Everybody else is going to lose that.
But then people don't know how to recognize their own value. They see you doing good at something, and they want it, not realizing the only reason you want it is because I got it.
Yeah, but that's that imposter syndrome that you know, we have to check as a people. But, man, what I love, again, that you're getting into is, hey, you're breaking down some things, man. It's incredible discipline that you have, but then the wherewithal to be the visionary, the architect of a business, and now talk about somebody else in your family that's the CEO.
Yeah.
And I've told people a lot, what you've done in that statement and how you've approached it is you've determined the what and the why.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowing everyone else to do the how. And they're having to create that and figure that out. You're not giving them all those statements. They have to create that. That's where their value is being delivered. But you set the vision and the purpose, right? High end, and you wrote that and you see it. You said you saw 10X already. Yeah. Now they have to drive to get it there, and they then went off of that. And that's a hell of a family business.
And that requires trust, though.
It does.
Because if they don't trust you, then and that trust sometimes has to just be built off them seeing the results.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I could tell them the vision. First, they see me do it for myself. Right? Then I'm like, well, listen, this is what I did for myself. Don't you think there's a possibility I can do it for us? Right? You wrangle them in for the idea. I say, this is what we're going to do the first week, first month. We do it. Now you got them. So, okay. You said we was going to do it. We did it. Now you got them. You understand me?
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to set goals in front of people and actually meet those goals in front of people in order to get their real trust.
That's a fact. So now, when everyone was starting out, right? Because I like diving into this story, and I know it's only one aspect of your portfolio.
Yeah.
But it's an important one because it's your family, it's your loved ones. So
Absolutely.
it's real close.
Yeah.
Now, when everyone was joining in, the revenue wasn't there to pay everyone the salaries that I'm sure they're making now.
Yeah.
So talk about that journey, right? And how that worked.
Right.
How were you convincing folks? Were they working for zero off of trust? Because that's a different trust when it's zero, or you paying people $1,000, $1,500 a month, $5,000.
Yeah.
Talk about that process.
All right. So when I had a business or when I was working a job, I'm making 6 figures. I didn't expect my family to come in and support that business, right? Because it didn't matter if they spent there or not. I was going to make my 6 figures. Once you start a business by yourself, you expect family to support that business, but that business only supports you. It's the same thing when you have a job that only supports you. So I think that's unfair. And I had an issue with that because I was expecting family to come support the business. So what I decided to do is create a business model that supports my family, right? So then my family was forced to support that business. And the way I did that was through an equity model at the beginning, right? So
you got an equity model with your family.
Yes.
Come on now. Let's game again.
Yeah.
Let's game again. This brother's dropping real jibs, y'all. I want to make sure.
So I'm like, you know, if you do this position, you get this percent. You do this position, you get this percent. So you get paid off of everything that you do. And the way I structured the business, because it's organic business, we didn't have no overhead, right? Besides, you know, cost of supplies and all of those other things. But it was so low that I seen profit already from the first month. So, of course, they weren't able to get as much as they are now, but they was automatically able to start getting paid, and they knew that the more work they put in, the more pay that they was going to get.
So it's profit sharing out the gate.
Out the gate.
Okay.
Out the gate. Now, I know everybody's business model can't do that, but here, this is the thing people got to understand. I'm into business model creation, right? I'm into, number one, if you create creative business models, you can tear up the old books, right? Because the thing is that we look at these statistics and say most business won't be successful. There's 7 years and 100 years. And it's like, that's just depend on how you structure your business and depend on what type of business you're in and how you need to make it work. Me understanding the influence that I have, the thought process that I have, knowing that I can start the business that way. Now, there was things that I had to set up before to make sure that it was successful. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for me to start a family business because I wouldn't have been able to afford to pay everybody for them to transition over full time so the business can be successful.
Yeah.
So I told them in the beginning that there has to be a sacrifice, though. It's like with Jeff Bezos' family, right? His mother and father gave him $200,000, right? And he already had an education, but here they starting up a digital library business. And this is 1995, and they like, there's no reason why this should be successful. This is not a business model we heard of. But he was able to go to other subsequent family members and get $50,000, but he told all of them, listen, it's a possibility that I can lose all y'all money, and I hope that we family still after this. And so y'all going in there with that risk assessment, right? And they agreed to it. So that was my same model of thinking when I went in and asked my family to come work. Like, you have to first assess the risk, know that you may have to make a sacrifice to join in on the family business, but still be all in, right? So it's like, if you go be that leader in your family, the number one thing you got to learn is communication.
Yep.
You understand me? If you can communicate, you can get everybody on board, but the family has to be sold into the same vision. The vision is important. Once they know the vision, they know what the mission is. We here to make people healthy. Yeah. We here to provide high-level minerals and nootropics and medicinal mushrooms so that people can enhance their life and be happy, right, and more focused. And the values, what are the principles? We're building a family business. Yeah. We're working together in a collaborative sense. You understand me? To build wealth for our family. And so, like, if we can agree on that direction, we got alignment.
Well, man, it's so interesting to hear you talk about that because that's the equity framework, right? When you work in classical marketing, right, and I was at P&G, I've managed Tide, I've managed Gillette, all these brands. It's the same framework, and you just mapped it real time with your family.
Yeah.
what I think is a nuance that I want to make sure everyone caught that you said is everyone in your family works for the vision. They don't actually, not once were you talking about they work for you.
Nah.
And I think that's so important, that as people are building family businesses, and anyone listening, that you've removed the ego off of it. You've pulled that out and you said there's this vision that you've now set, and you were the author of that, but we all work for that. That brings everybody on a common playing field.
Right.
And I think that was so important. I think it was beautiful that you said it. And I want to make sure everyone caught it, because you dropping some high level gems. We got to make sure we bring it down. I told you I'm conceptual.
I appreciate you, bringing them down to earth. You know what I'm talking about? But because that is real though, and thinking about that, so everybody should understand selling a vision.
You have to. So I mean, look, I'm not gonna hold you all day. I know I could talk to you all day, but and we'll continue to talk offline. But what I always want to understand is what's next, right? So you've built family businesses, you've collaborated with some amazing influence, you've built a personal brand that I think transcends just influence. It's now turning into wealth. What is next? What's on your journey? What are you looking for? And then the second question on that is, what do you want to see for the folks that are following you? Because you are a leader, right? And people are following you. What do you want from them as well, or want for them, excuse me, as well?
That's a good question. So I'll take the first one. What's next is platform ownership. We looking into crypto platform ownership and NFT platform ownership, and looking into BWO ventures and investments. You understand me? Investing into other people's businesses, and getting into spaces where organizations like ours are not normally in. You understand me? And understanding that framework that it takes to get there, and doing whatever is necessary. With BWO, we built something beautiful to where our members have such strong community, right? Like we have chapters that started to branch off on their own. BWO Houston, and we have BWO LA and Dallas, and it's like what everybody wants right now is community, right? The pandemic had everybody feeling like they was by themselves. 2012 recession, everybody was trying to figure it out, waiting on the government. Left holding the bag, trying to figure out what's next, waiting for a check. We didn't want that feeling again, right? So here we are now, assuring that we have a community, which assures our mutual success together. You understand me? And so I really want to build such a global community. There's a BWO UK, BWO Ghana, you understand me? A BWO Montreal. And you're talking about organizations that enhance, family institution and wealth and responsibility and respect and culture and wealth all around the world. And that grows naturally beyond us having to be there. It's the duplication of ourselves. So really the two kind of fall into one, the questions, because I want all of the people who are impacted by anything I say, I want you to also to be a thought leader. It's a reason I give you the framework for thought leadership, because I want to help develop you into that as well. My brother, J. Taylor Jacobs, teaches the family banking blueprint, teaches you how to set up the crest for your family, how to incorporate your family name, right? How to structure and find your family leader and things of that nature. That's important, because many of us, we want our family to grow, but we don't know how to grow our family. We don't know how to structure our family. And when we talk about family being an institutional tool for wealth, that's like the framework. Go look at all of the families' last names that are on all of the companies that we buy products from. You understand me? We are buying into those family institutions, projecting their wealth into the future. You understand me? And so there was a study that came out. So it goes into my 2053 wealth plan. I gave a breakdown of the study of where they say in 2073, the Hispanic community, Latinos, have 0% wealth. 20 years before that, 2053, Black community, 0% wealth, right? During the pandemic, we even had worse numbers, because this came out before the pandemic.
Absolutely.
So that number is probably projected even faster, because every other community has recovered from the pandemic except ours. It's going to take us at least another decade. So the reason I study all of that is to create business models and framework that tackles that directly. right? Because even if we make the same amount of money as our counterpart white household, we still are 80 years behind, right? That 2011, they said that low income making $19,000 quintile range white still has $14,000 of wealth to work with.
Yeah.
Black counterpart, $19,000 or less, $100 in wealth.
Yeah.
So it's like, how the hell? And the wealth is where you take your education opportunities and your investments. So it's like, if a person say, well, Keys, you know, given that, well, average person, poor person in America as black can't afford y'all course, right? And it's like, all right, we've built such a framework. And I looked at the model and statistics of my audience, right? 10% of my audience make over $200,000. 25 to 30% of my audience makes, you know, $50,000 to $60,000, right? Maybe 10% of my audience makes less than $20,000, maybe much smaller than that. So it's a very small percentage of my audience that can't afford it. But then we got a BWO tribe, because we created the framework so systematic and so powerful that every level, right, of class of people, not even just the beauty of when you work to create something for our people, it actually fits all people.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing people don't understand, is that if I was to focus on building wealth, because the issue is just the fact that we don't have any assets, right? So a high school dropout can have more wealth than a black college graduate, right? Or a white high school dropout. So it's like, when you can make these comparative models, anytime we do something for black people, if any other community, if anybody else that find themselves in an impoverished position, or really, you ain't even got to be in poverty for the BWO. You can actually have millions of dollars and learn how to diversify your portfolio, learn how to take investments, learn how to hedge your portfolio. Like, we have high level and we have entry level. And at the entry level, you can get in at $50 with a tribe that will give you certain courses that will allow you to go to that next tier of structure.
I think what you're getting into, right, from a business standpoint, is you have structured your audiences, right? You have segmented your audience so that you can continue to grow.
Absolutely.
And that's part of your growth model, right? That's part of the business of your influence and how you're looking at it. And you're future-proofing it through self-mastery and teaching self-mastery.
Absolutely.
And I think that is something that's new. That's disruptive, actually, is that your growth is almost similar to crypto, right? You're paying people to hack it.
Yeah.
Right? You are actually incentivizing people to create and build their own self-mastery to continue to grow your business.
Facts.
Right, with you, which is man, it's powerful.
Conscientious entrepreneurship through, you know, social impact, economic change.
It's heavy, man, and I want to make sure you have the last word. So,
man,
wrap us up. You wrap us up, because I am, man, I feel honored and blessed that you came here and took some time out.
I'm honored to be invited
and shared your truth and your journey with folks, because I think it's inspiring. And I think there were so many gems that we're going to walk away with, but I want to make sure that you have the final word and the message.
My word is this: you know, for everything that we do, we should have a standard for it. We don't have a protocol for most of the things that we do. Every community that builds wealth, every company, every individual that finds themselves successful, they have a standard for which they hold themselves to. How do you know if you're successful, if you're failing, if you have no standards of expectations for yourself whatsoever? Our culture doesn't have standards. We definitely don't have a wealth standard, right? We have money standards. I want money, and that's the only standard.
Right.
So our goal now, if you say you love your children and you're going to look at them, and my definition, love is a duty, right? So if you go look at your child and you tell them to love you, make sure that you're not lying to them. And how do you make sure you're not lying to them? Is by handling your duties. If they have to go out in the world and learn how to build wealth because you don't know how to do it, that's your duty if you love them, right? Because wealth is selfless, because it goes beyond you. It leads and it lasts beyond your body being here.
I might have to snap on that one. I don't know what. He said wealth is selfless. It
is. You won't be here to share your wealth. You understand me? Your children will. They can take that same opportunities that you have. They don't have to do the same thing you do, but you can leave them opportunities to do what they want to do. How do you do that? You have to educate yourself now. Make sure you got a trader in your family. Make sure you have somebody who understands the markets in your family. Make sure you understand somebody who understands life insurance in your family. Make sure you have somebody who know how to build a business in your family, understand crypto, investments, a multitude of different things. You should have a checklist to where you can say, I'm handling my duty for my family and myself. Because if you love yourself, then you preserve things that are for your best self-interest, right? And your best self-interest should be the things that you love. So we have to look at this as a self-reflecting pool, that building wealth is not just something you're doing for yourself. You're doing this so the generations to come don't have to do the same thing, right? They should have their water already so they can think about their oasis.
Well, that is a wrap on that one. Lord Hammer, that was amazing, man. And I know, look, we'll cut. Man, I tell you what, I pray out of this, right? And I know we're done now, man. But my hope for this with you is that the corporate community, the big institutions of wealth, start to understand the minds and the drive and the abilities of brothers like you, because if they don't start reaching out, they're gonna lose, because wealth has a timeline. It at some point can run out. And typically large wealth runs out when they lose relevance and they lose connectivity with the population. And what you have done is you have captured the population and the masses, and it would behoove them to connect with brothers like you, to understand that in a big way and look at how you guys collectively can magnify and multiply that.
Yes, sir.
In a way that goes beyond. So, man, I pray that one day I can get you out to Bentonville so that you can see some of those folks, because that's a whole lot of wealth in a region.
Yes, sir.
When you're talking about the Tyson family, the J.B. Hunt family, the Rockefeller family, the Clinton Foundation, you got a lot of massive family institutions that have built wealth. But I think there is a relevance gap that they are they're suffering from, and they need to reach out.
Yeah.
And extend an olive branch, because there's so much that you guys can learn from each other. So if there's anything that comes out of this, man, I pray that that's one of them.
Yeah.
But you, Lord, man, you drop some stuff. I mean, I don't know what the editing is about to look like, but we got work to do, because it's about 75 clips that I was trying to put little tickers on my phone, but I'm like, damn, bro.
I appreciate that.
That was amazing, man.
I enjoyed it.
So what's next? Where you going to next? You
my
traveling,
videographer. Oh, you talking about?
Yeah, I know you're not gonna stay in LA too long. You stay on
my
the
birthday next week. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
You gonna stay here or you going somewhere?
I don't know yet.
Cause you used to live here, right? You were living in LA.
I'm gonna get a spot out here again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm loving it. Cause I spend so much money on Airbnbs and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense.
No.
So I'm gonna get another spot out here, and the place I'm staying right now makes me want a home out here. And this place makes me want a home out here. So
there's some deals, man. I think anything luxury is at a premium. So
yeah.
If you can find the deal, you grab it.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be in a rush, because the market definitely is about to dip on real estate.
Yeah,
so,
I want that dip.
you can take your time. I think this was, as nice as it is, it's still actually a bit of a distressed asset. There's a lot that, I was talking about the walls and things that I got to put into. I'm putting rails in, right? There's things that I'm fixing. So I actually got a real deal on it. I don't know how many of those are out there, because I looked for a while before we were able to pull the trigger on this, but man, damn, bro, I am excited for you, man. The way that you think and the level of depth that you've been going in is remarkable, man. It's wise beyond your years, for sure. And I think what's great is you're delivering truth with a bit of love, because truth without love, is one of what my pastor says is weaponized. Yeah. And I don't think you are weaponizing it, right? I think you're delivering your truth, and people have to figure out what to do with it. But I think a lot of folks are missing the message, because they're thrown by what you're achieving for yourself And I love that line. Probably my most favorite line, man, that you said is wealth is actually selfless.
Yeah.
Like, that is a hell of a line.
I mean, because when you think about it, it's for who comes next.
Ooh, I had to go get a drink for that one. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna drink, but I need something. If I had to pull out the Macallan, I gotta go a little higher on my shelf. But I love that, man. Man, I love Chris, man. I love what he's doing, and I think the other thing I pray is, when the paths connect, and there's something that we can build, man. I think it could get scary.
I know it will, and it's inevitable.
It is inevitable. We're gonna figure it out.
It's so many things that, like, I'm so patient with stuff now. It's like, well, I just know when the time is right. It always converges.
Well, you have your engine, right? I think the patience comes when you have your engine, right? You've been able to remove the desperation that so many of us have been carrying. And it's something that we're talking about within Venture Noir. I think I was being pushed to try to create like an accelerator, right? Like, that's what everybody's immediate mind was do an accelerator, right? In these cohorts to teach people what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. How to raise money and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, shit, my first business, I didn't raise money. I was like, that ain't the goal.
Yeah.
I don't want to teach people that, because if you focus on raising money, you're probably not building a business. But I think what we've been missing is the mindset. And that's something that you tapped into, and you were talking about self-mastery, because that's actually the premise of what the nonprofit is going to be. And we haven't even released it yet. But I brought in, it's like Wendy Chev from Billions. That's what Devon's wife is. She's Wendy. And so she teaches, she actually teaches this idea of self-mastery, but to like Google and Facebook.
Yeah.
And like, they pay this woman like hundreds of thousands of dollars to just come in and improve the mindset of their executives first. And then they let her do like 2 or 3 days with the with the employees. Yeah. But she's like unlocking that aspect of the mind. And I almost begged her. I said, look, I need you. We're going to create a program around you. I could teach the skill sets of financial literacy, right? Marketing, branding, blah, blah, blah. But if your mind isn't right, you're inevitably going to fail anyway.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't do us any good. So I said, you are the program.
Yeah.
We're going to infuse your program with some of the tips and tricks. And I think you doing that, man, already on your own and what you guys are building is incredible. Because these skills and these tools, like, sure, you could teach somebody options, but that don't mean you're going to be a great options trader.
It really don't.
Most folks are actually going to fail at that.
It's only a certain percentage of people who's going to do well with the information you give them.
Look, man, the greatest trader in the world, man, he publishes, Warren Buffett publishes his plays every year.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody making that kind of money.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the patience for it.
You're right. Because that's all he does is sit there, learn, read, and trade.
Every day.
And nothing else.
And he's been doing it for 70 years. You know what I mean? So I think the fact that you've been able to pull and extract your process so that you have a steady flow of money, you now can be patient on the wealth creation as you are thinking bigger around what is your moat, what is your institution that you're building within the family. But man, I didn't even know that about your family. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
man. That was super cool. I'm glad we got more into that than BWO, because I think BWO is incredible. But I'm almost more proud for you, man,
I appreciate that.
with the family piece. I mean,
my sister was here.
My sister was here today. Like, I just hired my sister actually on my nonprofit, and she hasn't been working for like 14 years. She's kind of been a stay-at-home mom, but when I came out here, she was like, "Look, I kind of want to work again." Like, I was like, "Well, shit, come on." And as you were talking, I couldn't help but think selfishly on myself, like, man, I need to set a different vision for her. Because right now she actually feels like she's working for me. Yeah. Like, she's motivated thinking she's helping me. And the reality is she can't help me right now.
Right.
Like, so that kind of pressure, I'm like, I don't even want you to have that pressure.
Right.
I need to give a vision for her so that she can work. And if she wants that, then she goes and creates that. And then, man, I got all my cousins out here. I got so many folks where we talk about in the hood all the way to Castor to corporate. I'm like, damn, I got 12 companies.
Yeah.
ain't no reason none of these motherfuckers should be working for anybody.
It really should.
At this
But it'd
point,
be harder for us to work for each other. We'll go find a job before we'll work for each other.
because we shouldn't work for each other. We should be working for the vision. And if you put the vision in front of folks, then they work for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I had to highlight that, because I love that came out. And I learned that from it was Michelle Ebanks, man. She's the CEO of Essence for years, right? For like 15 years. My first company was with her husband. And I learned a lot about business from him. You know, they're like 60 years old. So he taught me fundraising. He taught me tech, taught me everything. But her company got purchased by Richelieu Dennis, right? The brother who sold Shea Moisture and made $1 billion for his family.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of ego in at that point, right? Because now,
man.
Huh?
So Ocean.
Oh yeah, bro. No, and he got a family business. Actually, he'll be on. I mean, his daughter is was head of R&D. You know what I mean? His sister, he's got his cousin in. This is a real black family dynasty that made $1 billion together, right? It's a family owned. But when he came in, it was like a lot of ego for Michelle at the time. And she said, one of the things she had to pull the team in is make sure that they all worked for the vision and not for him.
Yeah.
And when she said that, as somebody who's been a CEO of, a pretty large media entity, right? We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. To say that, I was like, oh, that's the game.
Yeah.
That's the leadership.
Yeah.
And you man, shit, you hit that as a young man. Like that's big.
Shit, I can't get nobody to collaborate if it ain't for the vision.
I don't know how y'all pulled that one off. I told Chris that was his secret sauce. I said, God damn, I don't know how you did that one, brother.